Lysergic acid diethylamide, also known as LSD, animal, tabs, beast, acid, sieve, window panes, and white lightning, is a semi-synthetic psychedelic drug or hallucinogen. It was first synthesized in 1938, manufactured from lysergic acid, which occurs naturally in ergot, a type of fungus that grows on rye, wheat, and other grains. It is manufactured as a white powder, but can be diluted into an odorless, colorless, semi-bitter tasting liquid. It is sold on the streets in tablet and capsule, and occasionally in liquid form. It is most oftenly seen soaked in absorbent water paper, divided into small decorated squares, each square representing a single dose. LSD is most oftenly administered orally, but can also be inhaled, injected, and transdermally applied. Classified as a Schedule I drug, LSD has no medicinal use and is instead used recreationally for its ability to alter perception and mood. LSD works by disrupting the neurotransmitter serotonin and predominantly affects the cerebral cortex and locus coeruleus. Strength may vary in dosages to 20 to 80 milligrams in average users to 100 to 80 milligrams per dose in more experienced users seeking a greater high. Effects can be unpredictable and depend on dosage, mood, personality, surroundings, and expectations. Typical psychological effects include hallucinations, delusions, altered states of mind, increased color perception, and impaired depth, time, and space perceptions, as well as mood swings. Physiological effects include tachycardia, hypertension, sweating, dilated pupils, loss of appetite, tremors, dry mouth, sleepiness, and trouble speaking. Sensation feelings change much more dramatically than physical effects, and sensations may cross over, allowing the user to feel that they are hearing colors or seeing sounds. Hallucinations and delusions occur most oftenly at high dosages, while altered perception and feelings occur both at low and high dosages. The experience of taking LSD is referred to as a trip, while bad experience is a bad trip. These bad trips lead to severe, terrifying thoughts and feelings, fear of losing control, fear of insanity and death, and despair. Effects begin 30 to 90 minutes after oral administration, peaking at 2 to 4 hours and diminishing at 6 to 8 hours, although some trips may last on to 12 hours. LSD is not considered addictive. It does not produce the same compulsive drug-seeking behavior as cocaine or heroin, and most users voluntarily decrease or stop use after time. The likeliness of tolerance is not concretely known, as most users do not continuously use. However, repeated users tend to increase dosage as they seek a greater high. Symptoms of withdrawal from LSD have been observed, but some effects may be prolonged, such as mania, long-lasting psychosis, and flashbacks. These flashbacks can occur hours, days, weeks, or even a year after the original use. Overdose is possible but highly unlikely, as the lethal dose is exceptionally high. Most common dangers arise from what is called behavioral toxicity, which is uncharacteristic or abnormal behavior, such as suicidal tendencies or the feeling of being superhuman brought on by the drugs. LSD was internationally in experimental capacity in the 1950s and 1960s by governments to explore the possibilities of mind control, interrogation, and social engineering. It was most heavily used illicitly by the public in the 60s and 70s, typically at 100 to 200 milligrams per dose. The lowest recording of users in youth and young adults occurred in the 1980s. Use of LSD in that age group has increased since then in the 1990s and early 2000s, but at a lower dose than that in the 60s and 70s. Recently, numbers of youth and adolescents have decreased in users. Oh God, I made it so far. So sad.